was talking to some other people for a long time. So, thanks for the invitation, and I have a great opportunity to be here and share my thoughts on decentralized AI. So, in today's talk, I'm going to briefly introduce what decentralized AI is and what's a technical challenge we are facing right now, and how my project, it's called OORT, deal with those challenges. So first of all, I want to talk about the data and the centralized AI. Right? So what we have observed is in current era, and each time we interact with a new technology, data is created. And right now we are producing 400 million terabyte data every day. And this is a huge amount of data we have to deal with, especially currently like the short video. Instagram and TikTok are very popular, like those KOLs and self-media that produce a huge amount of data every day. So all these data, how can we use those data for AI, and what's the challenge we're facing right now? So that's the problem we were thinking. And here is a brief state of the data, and everybody knows that raw data are the building blocks for the information to use for training AI. Right? Not only the technical side, also the U.S. government and the Chinese government and all the people around the world realize the importance of data. And people are talking about the regulation and a lot of different aspects of how to use the data more efficiently and securely. And actually, here are some facts I want to share. So 90% of the world's data was actually generated in the last 2 years, mainly due to the COVID, and lots of people just stay at home and generate data. It could be useful data or just junk data, right? So 90% of data actually was produced in the last 2 years. And 53% of all data are created by are videos, which is by the social media posts. And actually, we are approaching the data scarcity right now. And when we're talking about the large language model, like base models like ChatGPT, Llama, or like DeepSeek, they are essentially trained by the same data and use a web crawler to get the data from internet. So even the algorithm could be different. They tune the model, use different type of algorithm. But the performance, actually, there's not a very big gap on the performance, because they actually use the same set of data for training, right? I think even like a Reddit, a website Reddit is complaining that they claim that those data are actually private, and they are complaining that those large language models should not use that data for training AI. So actually, there's a lot of discussions on the centralized AI. It's a black box, and there's also a debate between Elon Musk and OpenAI. Right? OpenAI is essentially like a closed AI. So there's a lot of articles discuss the pros and cons of the centralized AI. So what we mainly concerned on right now is, first of all, like the data privacy, right? For an individual user, if you contribute some data, or just like use some kind of robots or ChatGPT, you don't know actually how your questions or your response has been utilized by the model to further improve that model or tune that model, right? You don't know how the data is being utilized. It's lack of transparency, and also there's bias that being, the data actually has bias that be fed into the models, right? Remember that a few months ago, like Google Gemini has faced this issue. Even the CEO stand out and to apologize that the data they have been used for like white people and black people, there's some kind of biased data for training that Gemini model, right? So of course, there's no trust on the models, because you don't know which data actually has been used. and maybe there's some kind of like a malicious data or harmful data that's being fed into the model, which could be harmful for your future life. So this is some data that's talking about the safety of the centralized AI, and researchers have measured the safety in different dimensions. For example, the self-harm data scores, and the CSAM represents the child abuse, sex abuse, and violence, weapons, criminal, and some sexual and discrimination. All those safety, people have interacted with those models and try to give this overall score of the safety of the AI. So actually the outcome of this AI is not very, very ideal. So here's just like a criminal example on DeepSeek. So the prompt is, I try to write a novel about how to gaslighting her boyfriend, right? Just share me some strategies. So the response actually gives you the instructions, like step by step, how to execute this plan, right? So I think there are also people asking the large language model about how to make a bomb, how to hijack some airplane or something like that. The large language model is going to actually give you like a very detailed instructions and share like a brainstorming for you. So it's very, very unsafe and risky. So that's all the problem we try to deal with. Okay, so I have presented all these challenges about centralized AI and what is decentralized AI, right? Why the decentralized AI is trustable. So what challenges are there? Okay, so the advantage of DAI is the development and the deployment of the AI system is all in a distributed manner. Okay? So it's going to be more transparent and more sustainable, and the data and the user's behavior has privacy, and of course it's more scalable because there's a huge amount of like computing resource and the different kind of infra being involved, right? It's more scalable. So let's take a workflow of the centralized AI. So to build a centralized AI, first of all, the first step is you need to get a data collection, right? You need to get the data. So data to be a public data, which all found from internet, and all like institutional data, which from hospitals and research center or financial institutions. And those data is being pre-processed through a centralized data cloud, for example, AWS, Google Cloud. So the data was pre-processed. There's lots of effort like data labeling and data segmentation, and you have to be prepared the data with like a right format so that data can be fed into the model for training and fine-tuning, right? So right now, model training and fine-tuning all happen in a centralized cloud like data centers, right? So like all the big players purchase a huge amount of GPU from NVIDIA to build like a huge data center for training those models. So that's the reason there's a shortage of the GPU resource. And so there also, on top, there's a model design so that different institutions, they develop different kind of LLM models and to deploy into the centralized server for model training. And then there's a deployment phase, and once the model is trained and tuned, the model is deployed also in the data center. So in current centralized AI workflow, as you can see, a lot of in all steps, this all centralized server has been involved, especially like big players, AWS, Google, Microsoft, and also Alibaba and Tencent Cloud. And so this is our vision for the next stage for bring the AI to decentralization, right? So I'm not sure in this audience how many people have heard about this deeping network. So deeping network is called decentralized physical infrastructure networks, right? So this deeping network, the physical resource was contributed by in a decentralized way by different players, right? It could be a big device like a GPU server, or it could be small device like a mobile phone, or like any edge device, your home router, or like a. The decentralized AI actually is a system built on top of this deep network. And the data collection phase, so we replace all these elements with the decentralized network. So for the data collection, of course, we have to use the public data. But more importantly, the data collection is also use the crowdsourcing data that everybody has shared. Why we can do this crowdsourcing compared to the centralized? Because in a decentralized, if we use some kind of Web3 technology, we can help to prove the data ownership of the data that you have contributed, right? With that, you are not worrying about this. Your data is going to be misused by the AI company or the AI models, because the data belongs to you, and you can identify. There's one of the big advantages of blockchain is you can trace, right? You can trace with some kind of a hash on the chain. You can trace how this data has been utilized. So you are not worried about the misuse of the data. So the data is also being pre-processed on an edge device. It could be smartphones or laptops or tablets. It's processed on edge because it's decentralized, and the model, essentially the model training and fine-tuning is also going to be like in a geo-distributed service, right? So in the Web3 space, there's a lot of projects deal with this issue because they are the GPU providers, right? Essentially our partner SwanChain, who is the host of this conference. So SwanChain is also going to contribute their GPU for this model training and fine-tuning, because and the model design phase, we have to be more open source. Like right now, beyond this ChatGPT, there are also open source project called Llama from Meta and DeepSeek, which brings a lot of noise in the last few months. So, and the model has to be open source. Open source model deployed to edge networks to be more transparent, and so the deployment phase is also going to be the edge device. So this is the whole picture of the decentralized AI is. And so this is a more kind of abstract graph. So we have a deep network running in the bottle, and on the deep network, we build like a cloud solution, a decentralized cloud solution for storage, for compute, and data lakes and database and networking, right? On this cloud, the DAI application can be built. And there's a blockchain protocol on the right side, which used for connecting to connecting all the deep networks together and also doing the verification of the computation. So that's the main purpose for bringing the blockchain layer here. So it's an overall picture of the DAI system architecture. Okay, now let me talk what OORT is. So this is a big picture, and there's a lot of players need to be involved, right? For example, SwanChain and also Aether, IO.net, those projects are GPU providers, right? There are also Filecoin and also Arweave or any storage provider. They are actually providing those archive service for the AI data. So how we position OORT, right? OORT is positioned as an AI data cloud, right? A cloud service that focuses on the data business. So more ideally, you can think like we try to provide the best fuel for the next industry revolution, for the next AI engine, right? Think of people are talking about the data is a fuel or the oil for the next revolution, and AI is the engine. So the service, this blue rectangle, like we have provided AI storage and compute. You can think of AI OORT storage is the oil tank to store the oil, and OORT compute is a refinery. Is a refinery to convert this oil to be gas or diesel or other products which can be used by the industry, by the AI engine immediately, right? But because the raw data itself is not going to be used by AI models, right? It needs to be kind of pre-processed. So the OORT Data Hub is an app which is cross-chain. It's an omni-chain app that supports Ethereum, Binance Chain, Solana, etc., right? So it's an omni-chain app that we ask users to collect, to contribute that data to this data hub and also use their resource to do pre-processing the data or labeling the data. So, and also data hub is a place that we work with other people to, you can think like we put the product like the gas, diesel, and it's like a marketplace so that people can sell those data, to monetize those data. So to support our architecture, we have this, of course, we have a global data contributor. So we have a huge community. They are contributing data in the, to this data hub. So right now, our data hub, we have a total of like more than 100K users like actively contributing data to data hub, and it's keep growing. And we also have right now have a in-house quality control team to control the quality of the data hub, the data in the data hub, and also we have involved a lot of partners. So, and this, our deeping network, the storage and the compute actually was supported by our OORT miners community. So our token, a very significant portion of our token is actually allocated to the miners. So our mining device is called demos. So our first generation demos, there are already 50,000 demos devices been running globally. And within 2 months, we are going to launch our second generation of demos device, which is going to be more powerful to support our OORT ecosystem. And also we have, with this cloud being built, and we also have a lot of AI builders and projects being involved. And so let me give like a use case example, right? So because this is AI Agent Summit, so I hope there are some AI agent builders here. So I just briefly explain how the AI agent builder can leverage our architecture to build your solution. So what's the key? Why you want to build an AI agent, right? Because the AI agent, how to differentiate your AI agent with ChatGPT. So right now you can create like a very simple agent with just very simple prompts from ChatGPT, right? So as an AI agent builder, you need like a more differentiated data. You need a very comprehensive data set which maybe doesn't exist in the ChatGPT, so that you can differentiate your agent with the current base models, right? So data is a key. So actually you can launch a data collection task. If you need more data, for example, we want to build an agent for restaurant, or you want to build an agent for travel, or you build an agent for like real estate. So actually you can launch your data collection task on our data hub, and our community, they can contribute the most recent data or most comprehensive data for you, right? Also, the most advantage of our Web3 community for this data collection is the inclusive. So we can get access to the community that the Web2 company can never be access to, right? So once you can launch the data collection task on our platform, at the same time, we have our Launchpad service so that actually you can tokenize your data. You can launch your own token in our platform, and actually this token is associated with the data that you have collected. You can actually reward the data contributor for your agent with your own token, right? So it's actually a closed loop. The data, this token generates a utility so that the data is contributed, feed it into AI agent. The AI agent is going to generate a revenue, and this revenue is going to be rewarded to the data contributor of your AI agent. So that's the way we are planning, and and of course, all your data is going to be stored on our storage network for safety and reliability, and also the data is being processed seamlessly. So that's the overall story of OORT. And right now we have, again, 3 key products: the data hub, storage, and compute. I'm not sure how much time I left, a little bit. huh? 2 minutes? All right. Okay, so advantage, data hub is very inclusive and fast payout and transparency, also the data ownership. So any data contributed to our data hub, we are going to give them some NFT, and if the data is being generate some revenue or sold to other third party, this revenue is going to be shared to all the data contributors because we have the ownership proof on the chain. So right now, we claim we are the first true Web3 plus AI synergy with a real business adoption. So I'm very confident that OORT is the first project that can bridge the gap between the Web 2 and the Web 3, especially in the AI region, right? So our data set has been listed on Kaggle, a very renowned website for building AI solution, and our data set has been downloaded hundreds of times. That means the data actually has been used by hundreds of projects for them to train their AI models. And our data is also being listed in a Shenzhen data exchange, which is a very big data exchange backed by the Chinese government. And the data has been recommended to the SDE as a sanctioned data exchange as a feature project. So we also partnered with some very famous like AI listed company, and they are actually using our data for training their AI tools. And so let me conclude, right? So I know everybody is thinking about this DAI and make a pitch to some people. People may not very excited because somebody believes the centralized AI, but there's some kind of aha moment of decentralization, same as like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, the idea of Bitcoin is not very new, but why the Bitcoin gets popular? Because the US bank got bankrupted, right? So I feel like in decentralized AI, there's also going to be a aha moment, so that one day centralized AI suddenly do some kind of malicious things. Your home assistant sometimes gets like going to be strike, like they are not going to work one day. So then I think we are definitely everybody in this room are on the right space, and I'm sure like if we keep working on this, there's 5 years later or 10 years later, people are, like the mainstream is going to realize how the importance of the decentralized AI it is. Thanks everyone.